complete marine navigation evaluations, present marine safety assessment and plans, a summary of overall impact of our system development, complete interconnection plan with the land-based PG&E grid and the specifications thereof, and monitor the permitting process and citizen review of this project. In addition, after about a year, after all these environmental studies have been done, they are to support the creation of a notice of intent and a pre-application document to file to FERC for a licensing application that, if granted after 1 or 2 years by the FERC, that would really be the start of putting equipment in the water to build out the demonstration facility and generate some power and bring that ashore. Let me step back for just a moment and summarize very quickly what the Wave Connect project is meant to do. It is really a research and development testing project in which PG&E is going to supply the undersea power transmission infrastructure such that we will invite other manufacturers of wave energy conversion devices, buoys or mounted platforms, to hook up to our undersea power infrastructure, and for a period of 1 to 2 years do some live tests of how these various devices operate. We're the only entity in the U.S. that is proposing doing this right now. All of the other wave energy, tidal energy projects that are being proposed in the U.S. and especially along the west coast of the U.S. are individual projects by manufacturers of these devices, such that they are going to be trying to prove out their individual design. We understand that there's another entity off of Mendocino County called GreenWave that is proposing to do a selection of the best candidates in their project. We don't know very many details about what they're doing, and we have no communication with the sponsors of the GreenWave project, so we can't really comment on their project. But the explicit point of the PG&E Wave Connect project is to provide a common, high-quality undersea power transmission infrastructure and mooring infrastructure to test out a variety of wave energy devices that we would later possibly choose to standardize upon and build out at a much later date, many miles out in the ocean. On the last page, on page 4, we have what I believe we have distributed a little bit earlier, and that is the schedule of activities, taking us through the next 3 years up through our license application. One thing to point out is that in this next phase of applying for a license, that will be the next opportunity that any intervener candidate can file to be a formal intervener in the process. We encourage any and all parties that wish to be an intervener in the process to exercise that right. And with that, I'd like to open up this to any questions you may have that I can answer.
Okay, thank you. To the board, questions, comments? Supervisor Smith.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you for your presentation. I'd like to go to the summary of schedule activities. If you could talk for a moment about the outreach component. So bullet number 3 is conduct outreach with federal, state, and local regulatory agencies, tribal,
yes,
and community outreach. So what is the purpose of that outreach?
Well, we certainly want to meet with the dozen plus federal, state, and local regulatory agencies to inform them of our project and to look to them for any guidance that they may be able to provide us in designing the project, designing the environmental studies. Quite frankly, we would like to have some guidance as to where to put this Wave Connect project. We have a 4-mile into the ocean, 17-mile along the coast rectangle of study area that is in our preliminary permit. And if you envision that as a football field, we're looking as to where we should place a football on that football field. That's the kind of scale that we're talking about. We have a very large 68 square mile study area, but the project size is going to be probably a few tens of acres. We would like to work with the ocean users to help us understand where would be the best place to minimize or eliminate any interference or interaction that we may have with their existing uses.
Do you have any specific formulated scope of outreach to date?
This right now is our plan. We need to put together a series of meeting dates and times. We will supply those to the county as soon as we have those together. This is a very, very early stage in the project development.
And again, to clarify, this is a document for FERC that FERC requests, so the level of detail is approximately this, but there will be more detail to follow.
And assuming if there are any changes to this draft when you submit it on the 25th, you'll get us copies of that?
Absolutely.
Okay. Back to the questions on outreach. Who have you contacted to date that would be considered outreach under this section? It appears here it's going to go through, is that the last quarter of '08? So we have through this calendar year for this component.
Right. We have met informally with members of the Fish Committee. We are in correspondence with members of the Fish Committee, the fishermen interested in safe hydrokinetics stakeholder group, which comprises of all of the commercial and recreational fishing industries in Mendocino County. We would look to the county to provide us with suggestions about groups that they think that we should meet with. And we will make it a point to do so.
Would this today be considered outreach?
This would be considered outreach. We're trying to explain our process in advance of our actual filing with FERC.
So moving on to section 2, it talks about obtaining the necessary authorizations and field studies. Who will be doing the field studies?
We intend to retain consulting authorities in the subject areas. We have done a lot of work with the firm CH2M Hill and with the firm Black & Veatch. CH2M Hill has looked at environmental study issues, and Black & Veatch have looked at engineering and technical issues. They are currently not under contract. We currently do not have our promised funding from the California Public Utility Commission. And just to explain that very, very briefly, the CPUC has a fund funded by PG&E ratepayers called the Emerging Renewable Resource Project Fund. And a year ago, and we can supply this application, PG&E applied to the Utility Commission for a Wave Connect project that could be funded by this fund. It would be for a total of $6 million between the two Wave Connect projects, one off of Mendocino County and one off of Humboldt County. $6 million may seem like a lot of money, but it will be used entirely to fund the